everybody, welcome to ExtraNormal Podcast, where we tell these abnormal stories for these extra normal times. And my name is Christoph. Alongside me is
Brianna.
So what you do is whenever there's other people in the room, is you stare at me, waiting for me to fuck up, and you make me fuck up. When there's not other people in the room,
You always fuck up. You can't even pronounce her name right.
That's why I say Christoph. I don't say Christopher anymore. I go by Christoph because it sounds weird. Anyways,
I was wondering that. I was like, wait.
so Brianna, how are you?
I'm fantastic.
And we have some special people alongside us.
Introduce yourselves.
I'm CJ Magana. Ladies first. Oh, sorry, my bad.
Wow. Go fuck yourself.
This is where we mess up. You're absolutely right about the vision. It's just really look in your eyes. You're like, oh my God, I'm going to mess up.
Half of the time, she glares there, and half of the time we intro the podcast, that's always a fight. It's always a little fight. Drag out.
Don't look at me.
Hi, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Dalia.
Please introduce yourself. And it's Dalia. And what's your name? We didn't catch it because we don't listen to rudeness.
Oh.
Damn.
We don't hear it.
Shots fired. CJ.
CJ. And you said your last name. That's pretty cool. Have we ever said our last name on the podcast?
I always say Brianna Kaye.
You say Brianna Kaye?
I didn't say it. Do you not listen to the fucking podcast that you produce?
You say Brianna. Sometimes you do, but you don't always say that. Anyways.
And we have Ravioli that's obsessed
And
with
we have
Dalia.
our usual cat who always fucking interrupts.
Yeah.
And we are having them alongside us today. We're recording in the daytime, which feels weird.
It's like,
it feels fucking weird.
Yeah,
usually we record.
We record at night usually because
Like
we don't have a
fucking
babysitter.
vampires.
So Clementine has to be asleep. So it's definitely more spookier.
Gotcha.
It's
But
not spookier. It's not
is.
spookier.
We have crackheads live up the street. Is a whole
That is
other
scary.
situation going on.
We have a lot. Yeah, we have a
cops
crack house.
always being
Official.
called.
We
Yeah.
made
You guys
it.
really?
We really have a crack house.
wow.
The
It's
cops
official
are going
now.
to take them down hopefully soon.
Yeah, that's what they're telling you.
That's another
That's a whole other podcast.
normal podcast.
But I
Talking about the crack
am very
epidemic.
excited
Returning.
to have CJ and Dalia on our show today. Years ago, I think we're at a party or whatever.
They're actually probably into opioids more than crack.
Thank you for interrupting me. Appreciate it. Manpower.
That's a general trend.
So, but years ago, I think were we here? I don't remember, but CJ told me some really cool spooky stories.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if he remembers, but
Hopefully.
I would just.
Otherwise, it's going to be a really short
I'm
episode.
very, very excited to for him to elaborate on that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's going to be super fun. So thank you guys so much for coming. We've been wanting to do this for a while, and
Thank
I
you
know
so
life
much.
gets crazy, but we're just so thankful you guys are here.
Absolutely.
And this is my excuse to see CJ because I'm buddies with CJ's, but we rarely ever see each other.
We always plan stuff but never execute.
It never
right?
is executed well.
Never do.
I don't execute
Or
anything
like
well.
down the street.
He's the
once, skip
worst.
hop.
Like
Yeah.
I'm
I am the
like-
worst, admittedly the
I'm
worst.
like, did you ever text CJ back? Did you confirm it? No.
I meant
I'm like,
to.
I'm gonna fucking text him. He's
Hold on,
he
let me text
doesn't
him.
that to anybody. Like it's an ongoing thing.
Let me
like
see if I
Susie
owe
and Melissa
CJ
say
a
the same
reply to
thing.
something as we speak. One last message.
So
Go ahead,
stupid.
Brianna.
How are you guys been? Like, what's up?
Been pretty good. Don't look at me. This is weird. So now I know what Chris means about that.
Fucking yeah, I was the last one to reply. Go ahead. Sorry.
Damn.
Fuck yeah.
So that's
He
on me
probably
then.
left you
No, I
alone.
gave like one of those like, oh, sounds good. I gave one of those ones where it's like,
But then he
There's
should have
no
like
actual
the next
reply?
week.
What are you
he
gonna-
should have been like, so we're looking at these dates. So these work from you.
Yeah.
Like, and he's just like, oh, I haven't replied yet. And then a month goes by. Did you ever talk to CJ? No. And then another month and then another month, and I was like, I'm fucking texting.
and then you die, and then life passes you
Anyway,
by.
so how are you guys doing? Everything's good,
Yeah, we're
Busy?
good.
Yeah.
Super busy.
Super
Yeah.
busy. Works crazy. Yeah.
but that's good.
Yeah.
You know, stable.
Apparently people like their lights on, so gotta keep the power going.
Fuck, man, we do. We got a hefty ass fucking. I know this is not the electrical podcast, but we got a hefty ass Edison with this dumbass arcade room and hillbilly pools, and we treat like this place like it's fucking Las Vegas.
And-
Lights are on
And
24/7.
He needs his
AC.
AC 24/7.
Oh, we're burning. We're keeping you in business, man.
So is Dalia. She works from home, so she has the air conditioning blast.
That's
Yeah,
beautiful.
Feels
that's,
good,
yeah,
though.
that's
Yeah.
him. Yeah, that's
What's the
him.
last time you climbed a pole? I'm not going to give away what your job is. What's the last time you climbed a
That's how
pole?
we met. He was a stripper.
Well, there you go. He had the experience.
It's like, oh my god.
He's like last night.
2008 was the last time I climbed.
Yeah, and
Was
to,
that
for
from that-
context.
Was that the accident?
Yeah.
Oh shit! So for context, you used to like those electrical. I'm gonna sound like a fucking idiot. Those electrical poles that everybody has. Those poles. You used to climb that shit to repair it.
That's correct. Yeah. So I used to be an apprentice to become a lineman, but I had an accident and fell off a pole.
And you weren't good enough, so you fell, and then you.
Yeah, I didn't cut it.
How was that? I'm sorry to be insensitive, but was that? I don't remember. You got damaged. I know that much.
You still are. Like,
How many
still,
bones?
Yeah.
How many bones?
My entire left leg and hip and kind of like back got tweaked up a little bit.
Fuck, man.
Became an alcoholic for about 8 months.
Oh,
or so,
really?
trying to heal, yeah, because work.
I'm
And
surprised.
you're in pain?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like I'm surprised it wasn't
stuff,
like a lot of times it's pills. Like good for you because the pills are worse than the alcohol. I think.
No, the bar was down the street, Clancy's. Over in Long
Got
Beach.
it.
Yeah. Fucking
Clancy's. Oh my god! I've been there forever.
Yeah.
Had Clancy's. I don't remember Clancy's.
So we're off. Yeah.
Why are you looking at me like, oh my god?
Because you're like, oh my god,
So you
I
know,
remember
Susie
Clancy's.
used to live in Long Beach. So.
I know. We used to go to bars in Long Beach.
Yeah,
I remember a lot
all
of
the
them,
time.
but
We were
not
in
that
Long
one.
Beach a lot.
Whatever.
Anyways.
Yeah. So that's a high risk fucking job, right?
Yeah, it is right now too with the heat. So it's getting worse and worse.
Kudos. Thank your local pole climber.
Yeah.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah, I would love for us all to go and celebrate the 50th year of Halloween Haunt together. I think it would be so much fun.
That'd be sweet.
Super cool.
Do the
Group together.
They were the OG, right? Wasn't Not Scary from the OG? Weren't they the first ones to like jump on that maze? I mean, everybody had probably like shitty
What do you
haunted
guys
maze.
like? What's your honest opinion? Do you guys like Halloween Haunt better than like Fright Nights, Horror Nights?
Universal sucked.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
fucking.
We've only been once, and we didn't do VIP. Exhausting. I was
We
exhausted.
got on one ride the entire night, and then I think we bamboozled our way to the tram. Like we snuck on.
Nice.
Before they closed it. And they
they were
literally
chasing us.
they're gonna kick us out, and I was like, oh, don't touch me.
Already on.
Jumping through there, and then sure enough, they allowed us to go in, and it sucked.
It's just, you know what it is? Like, here's what it is. I think the Knott's Berry Farm people, it's all like old school people who did it before Universal jumped on the bandwagon.
And it's not based on
Bandwagon.
movies. They have to be very creative.
They're not leaning on their IP. They have to like kind of think
Yeah.
outside of the box for their stuff.
What disappoints me about Universal being like a makeup artist is like they're all wearing masks.
That's exactly
what I
what
was
she said.
What the fuck?
Throwing a mask.
So
Like-
the special effects at Knott's is amazing.
Yeah.
And I was looking at Universal. I was like, okay, well, I'm very disappointed. There's
Right.
nothing special other than just the mask, and that's it.
It's a lot of like, oh, I recognize that. Oh, I recognize Freddy. Oh, I recognize like all the fucking
Yeah.
shitload of IP they have for all
Yeah.
that's what it is.
Very disappointing. So
Are we going this year to Universal though?
I told
let's get
him I will
disappointed
be.
together.
I have to be bougie and do VIP. It's the only way. Because that one night we went on I think
It's only
2
worth
mazes.
it if you're gonna waste that much money. Just add an extra $20, $40
Fuck yeah.
and make it
Yeah.
worth it. Yeah,
It's not extra $20, $40. It's
How much
like
is it?
3 times
Oh
the price.
my god,
Is it really?
I don't care.
It's like it's like twice. It's like $200 instead of.
You know
80
what
or
where
whatever.
we just went was Midsummer Night's Scream. Have you guys ever gone?
No, not.
You guys
Midsummer
would love
Scream,
it because they have mazes. They're like shorter mazes, but it's like just to like get you ready for Halloween
Yeah.
season. But so many
They have
great
vendors, a lot of art.
vendors.
Like, yeah.
You and your you would have had paparazzi if you would have
Oh,
worn
yeah.
your Darkwing Duck costume.
Oh, yeah.
because people dress up.
Yeah.
It's a con, so everybody goes. It's a big convention. Like people come from all over to it. It's
No, I
so
think
good.
It popped up on my TikTok not long ago.
Oh wow.
Yes.
That means
so
it's
this is our
important.
second year
Yeah.
going, and we've been wanting to like have like a booth there. So I think next year will be the year that we actually like get a booth. You know.
CJ, what's on your TikTok algorithms? I want to know because I'm fascinated by TikTok
fuck.
algorithms.
Wait, can I guess?
Go
Can I
for it.
guess?
Yeah,
I'm sure there's some political stuff,
a lot of political,
Okay.
some spooky stuff.
very spooky stuff.
I can't guess. I don't know what else.
Fitness.
Funny
Fitness.
stuff, and I'm sure a lot of comedy.
yeah.
yeah.
Food, because I
Yeah.
can't cook.
Mine's a
but-
lot of food and fart videos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Food and
No,
fart
no.
videos.
A ton of
Wait, you said
Animals.
because you like to cook?
No, because I would want to learn how to cook,
Is
and I
Dalia
get
you?
fascinated. Like I used to watch Top
Same.
Chef and
Yeah.
stuff like that, you know. But
I'm
as
like
far as a cook-
charcuterie board every day, and
I haven't done shit with those recipes. I see those recipes. I'm
he
like,
sends
oh, that
them
looks
to
so
me,
good.
and I'm like,
Yeah.
you know,
And I never
don't
cook any
Like,
of that
We've
shit.
tried a few.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
make everything look easy on TikTok though.
Oh, of course.
But it's like,
Oh,
isn't
of
it funny?
course.
You're like, I'm gonna eat at home. Let's get a good recipe. $70 later, you could have fucking went to In and Out.
Spices
You
you're
know
not
what I
going to
mean?
use in the next decade.
You
Yeah.
could have just
Yeah.
went somewhere
Well,
and
not even that. Is like you need what? What is that? And you have to
you're
buy, like,
never
a
gonna
large
use
amount
it
or use
again. Yeah. So,
Yeah. I like.
anyways, are we ready?
We are ready. We are ready.
I'm I'm already getting buzzed. This is sad. I don't drink really anymore.
Have you guys done the 17th door?
No, we want to.
I
know what you're talking
feel
about. It's
like
like the
I'm
more
more. I think I'm more down than him.
Last year's
Well,
experience was insane.
Yeah.
I think
Oh
that's,
yeah, let's talk about it.
that's the only time we've done it
better.
together alone. Normally we're with a large group of people,
Yeah.
so it makes
16.
it really, really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
So I was
Usually do it with my family. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
so I was grouped with CJ and six
Three,
other
three college kids.
boys.
6
Yeah.
college kids. Yeah.
So they took care of me. I was the only girl, but
Yeah, they were really nice. Yeah.
yeah, they were.
Good kids.
I don't know. It traumatized me.
Because they're allowed to do whatever they want, right?
Well, I mean, the end.
Do they
Sign a
try to
waiver,
cut your
right?
hair? Because that was the one
No.
thing. That's
They-
why I haven't gone.
I'm allergic to fish, and they slapped me with a fish, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna die.
That's,
I remember the year
I
because
might
you're
go
scared
now.
of clowns too, right?
Oh yeah.
I remember the year they put put you in the locker with the clown, and he's like,
yeah.
with the squeaky thing.
Yeah, I was Tears.
Anyway,
was-
so how did it traumatize you?
Well, they make you crawl into a tunnel, and you end up submerged in water.
nope.
And you're like underwater
I'm
for a
out.
few seconds, right, or
You're
something?
underwater, and then
There's
you know,
a
like the
bag.
inflatables,
No, I'm out.
like
Yeah, they
kinda
so
like the jumpers.
yeah, so yeah, very constricting, right? So it starts inflating, and then the damn thing goes under, and then you're like trying to breathe, and it goes down for 1 minute, but there's a lock in front of you, and one of the clowns was telling Dalia, what was she telling you? She was like,
It was so funny because I did not get it. I was so
It
like,
went
I think
right
I was
over her-
panicking,
Yeah.
and then she was like, what was she saying? She was like, "Do you want to know the code?" And I was like, "What code?" And she kept saying it, and then I'm just like,
she kept giving her a rhyme of
and
some
she kept
sort.
telling me, and I'm looking at her like, "What the fuck am I
It's like,
supposed
bitch,
to
I'm
do?"
drowning.
And then
Save me.
eventually, once it because it submerges down and the water starts coming out, I see the lock in front of my face, and I was like, "Oh, that's what the code was for."
Yeah, too,
Yeah, I'm not
so they
doing
can
that.
open it. I mean, they're that.
I'm not,
I don't
I'm
know
not
about
fucking
the
paying you for that.
The
I'm not
water
paying you for that.
thing, not even like being submerged in it. It's the idea that other people have been in that water. That's more.
Oh god, more
I'm
of
a
a germ
germaphobe.
kind of.
Scuzzy
Like,
water.
I'm just like,
So this might not be the thing for you because they have a lot of different.
Rooms and
So it's 17 doors of horror. And,
Got it.
And every time that I've done it with different groups of people, like one time we went and we got into the room and he kind of gave you an introduction. And it was more like the psych ward.
yeah.
So we got in and something happened. We heard like noise and you could see the actor kind of going like, okay, let me stay on track. But you could see like she was like trying to figure it out too. So we're like, is this part of the is this part of the act or what?
Trusting
You know?
a minimum wage employee
Yeah,
with
yeah,
your
yeah,
life,
yeah.
always good.
And then sure enough, somebody like just socks through the door because you have to go through different doors, hence the name, right?
Got it.
And the guy got so scared that he ran through all the doors. And this guy was like a big cholo dude, you know, like I'm a tough guy. Yeah.
way.
And then one of our buddies, his first time going, he's like, "Wait, this shit's real? This shit's real?" Because it does change. There's some areas where it stays consistent, but you're going through this person's life since junior high
Right.
all the way through her bad mental years and to her.
So it's like a story. It weaves
Yeah,
a
it's a huge
story in
story,
those
yeah.
17 doors. Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty.
So
neat.
it probably make kind of you get more like attached to the storyline, right? 'Cause
Yeah, I
you're feeling for
It's
her.
the first time, yeah.
Or I like that. That's kind of
are
cool.
we allowed to cuss?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Fuck yeah.
Girl,
yeah.
Like,
because I just did. I was like, girl.
I don't
Get
know.
out.
It's a mind fuck. Because you don't know what to expect and you don't
They
know how
change
they're
it,
gonna.
yeah.
Wow.
But they don't go after your fears of like horror movies, like the clown,
The
yes, maybe, but the stereotypical stuff, yeah, they go more towards your actual fears of being claustrophobic,
Like
or
primal fears.
Primal fears, yeah.
Fuck, I'm not doing that. I'm not. Claustrophobia is like, it's where I'm at.
Okay, so him with claustrophobia and dark water.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
like nails in water. Anything
I don't like iron
metal.
in water. I don't like metal
the
water.
idea
Freaks
of
me
it
out.
just sitting in
Okay.
water.
Like
and
if I see a
rusting.
pipe in water, I'll start to get heebie-jeebies.
I love it when we go on
Really?
Pirates of the Caribbean at Disneyland because you know
'Cause
one
it's the
part.
smell.
You know that one part right
I
when
don't know
you're
what
gonna
it is.
go
It's like-
where the ships are shooting.
Yeah.
Like he closes his eyes every time, and I fuck with him the whole time. Like, okay, we've already passed. You can open your eyes now, and so he does, and he's like, he like closes his eyes again.
Because like the rest of the pirates is like it's pretty narrow, so you
Yeah.
you don't feel. But
But
that
it's just not
open
knowing
water,
what's underneath there.
Yeah.
Like,
what lurks between. It roots in like a nightmare I had when I was like 7 or 8, and I still vividly remember. It was like a hallway, and I was walking, but it felt like water, and it was like mounted like shark heads and like sea monster heads that I saw when I was like 7 or 8 that I vividly I don't have a lot of memories. It's one of the few memories I have in my childhood. Is this, and I think that's the origin of it. That must be the origin of it, because ever since then, I'm like, I don't know what's under there, and my mind just starts running.
I really want him to see like a psychologist to see what his childhood to bring out the trauma.
Are you sure you want that unpacked? You sure that you want that shit unraveled?
Hey, I've dealt with you for almost 20 years. I think I can handle.
I'll still be me. So CJ, there is a long fucking list.
Yeah.
You have a fucking laundry list of stories that you have been like. We're those people now, like the saver for the podcast people. But we actually kind of know some of the stories, but we'd like to share with.
This was years before even the podcast, and I just remember him sharing these stories so vividly and just being like, "Whoa!" Like I would have loved to been there to experience that. One that's really like strongly in my memory was the one, and I'll have you like elaborate. It was like you were visiting. I can't remember if it was your grandma in Mexico, and she lived on a farm.
Yeah.
And you talked about like crows that were like almost life size.
Yeah, that's great.
And I remember that, and then I remember you telling me about something that flew over the moon. So
Correct.
let's go,
Yeah,
CJ.
so I was lucky enough to spend like an entire year in Mexico, in my grandparents' ranch as well as the city. It got to a point where we were so excited as kids because we were going to go to kind of like a raging waters. And we received a call from the ranch saying that my uncle had passed away. Now, my uncle had gotten in an accident long ago, so he didn't have any legs. So he kind of like had like put prosthetics, you know?
Sure.
And in Mexico, they build the homes by rooms, by what you can afford, right?
Sure.
So there's
That's
a little
cool.
small
That's
room, and
awesome.
then that's how they keep the encampment inside or whatever the case. But they have like small little rooms, and they have one of the rooms we called the big room. And that room had 4 beds in it in each corner, 1 window, and 1 door. So I guess what happened was my grandmother told us that my uncle passed away, but he got dragged from his bed from one corner, face down to the door. So his legs were, or his nubs were.
Now,
yeah.
did she witness this, or he was just
No.
found in that position?
So she said she heard a large scream, and then she ran, or not ran, but like grandparents. She hurried over. She saw a huge crow at the window, and it quickly flew away.
And was it one of those windows where it's not like glass, like it was like sitting?
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I remember you. I kind of remember you telling me that.
Yes.
It was like on the ledge of the
Yeah.
window.
Yes. Correct. So that entity at first was just a dark entity, and then when it flew away, wings came out. So she assumed it was a crow, right? So it goes. And then she went to the door, and sure enough, my uncle was face down with his knees to the door, passed away.
So
And that wouldn't make sense if he was trying to get away, because he would have been face first.
Correct.
that's what I was gonna say. Like that was what first thing I was gonna ask is what
Yeah, I was
his
like-
position was when she found him. But if he's crawling, essentially he would be crawling away from the
You
door.
would
If
yes,
anything,
correct.
based on his position, if I were playing
Like
like
trying to get
internet
away.
detective,
Yeah.
like yeah,
Right. Yeah.
that's
yeah.
wild.
So you kind of like, as a kid, you hear these stories, and I remember getting in the truck, all of us in the back, and put in the back, and driving from León, Guanajuato to Jalisco, Mexico, and then getting to the ranch and not understanding exactly what had happened. But in Mexico, obviously, anytime somebody passes away, they do a rosary. They get together and they start praying. And they had put my uncle's body in one of the rooms to start praying. And in Mexico, it's like quick. You get a funeral going, it's right away. They don't wait.
It's because maybe it's something superstitious of them passing over.
I don't necessarily know. I just know that I think it's
Get it
from my
done.
understanding is just more of the body has to go to rest right away.
Yeah.
So I remember as a kid being American, right? I was like, oh, maybe I should go and get some flowers and stuff because I've seen movies where people die. This is my first time ever being around. So
That was your first experience with death.
yeah.
How old were you?
Well, what is it? 3rd grade, 8 years old,
Something like
okay.
that. Yeah.
7, 8, right? Is that correct? Yeah. I go with my cousins.
Dahlia's your official age verifier, by
Yeah,
the way.
she is.
Thank
She's
you
my
for
math-
that.
yeah,
Appreciate
thank you.
that.
You're welcome.
Did I skip
Appreciate
it?
your help.
Yeah, so I remember going to the river in the ranch to try to get flowers together with my cousins, and then one of the things I found odd was there's a lot of crows. Oftentimes there's a lot of birds in the area, obviously being in a ranch, but I didn't pay much attention to it. So by the time we got back, there was more and more crows outside of the room where my
And can you explain, because I think us being in America, we think of crows as like these smaller birds.
yeah.
Tell us like the size difference of like these type of crows.
These type of, and I keep saying crows,
But they're
because
like, I remember
black.
they're like a cousin to the crow, right? Or something.
Yeah,
They're
what
like,
do they call them in Spanish? Lechuzas, right? Yeah, so they're a little bit.
Dalia is also our official crow verifier. Thank you for that.
Yeah,
So she's our
we're
bird expert
Spanish,
as
yeah.
well. Thank you.
Yeah, so lechuzas are
Part-time bird watcher. But
they're pretty much the size of probably like a dog, if you would, maybe like a minute, like my miniature. Yeah, like a turkey. Yeah, that's a good. Yeah.
oh, okay.
but they're
yes,
very
yes.
crow-like, right?
Very crow-like, very dark black,
Ooh.
right? So I remember seeing them, and there's outside this tree, we call them buitres, which they look like willow trees, outside where they used to tie up the donkey and stuff. So I remember seeing them and thinking to myself, like, oh, that's a lot of black birds, but didn't think anything of it, right? Going to the area where they're praying for my uncle, and I remember there was a lot of people, and the praying got louder and louder, and the wind picked up, and the crows got louder, and things just got weirder and weirder, and people were just holding hands and praying, and I couldn't understand why it got louder and louder. And then sure enough, you hear like a scream like you would in those witch movies, and then I just happened to look up, and they're bright as day, you can see in shadow kind of going across like a witch. So I was
On a
like,
broomstick, would you say?
I just remember a shadow. I don't
Like
remember.
flying?
Yeah, just
That's
flying.
crazy. And for context,
Or what was that word?
for context, for Chex Mix.
I like Jack.
That sounds good right now.
right?
God damn it. A lot of times I leave in like when I butcher words, I don't edit it out because it's a little bit of charm to it. I feel
Yeah,
like.
leave it in.
Yeah.
Check context.
Keep it real.
Context.
Keep it real.
From what I remember from this story,
Yeah.
after the fact, you found out something about your uncle, right? Some of his beliefs and practices, and some of the stuff he
Yeah.
delved into.
Okay, before you go, that's amazing because I don't remember that.
Thank you.
But before you go into that,
She's a lot nicer when there's guests too to me. She complimented me last time we had a guest. You fucking complimented me.
I did?
You did. You don't even remember
I
that.
was very
Go
drunk.
ahead.
I don't remember.
It doesn't happen when it's just the two of us. No
Do you
compliments.
see? I'm finishing this bottle. You
Go
guys
for
better, if you guys want some, take some, please.
Yeah, Dolly wanted her Coronas.
I got mine.
Aw.
All right.
But before we go into that question, I was so like enthralled in the story, but if you're okay and if you know, and you don't have to answer because I'm not trying to make you think back of your dead uncle, but like, but I want to kind of know, like, was his heart missing? Was he cut? Was he like looked like he was pecked at? Like if it's too much for you, like I totally
honestly
understand.
do not remember. Like I just
Blood, nothing.
nothing. I don't remember any of that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, we went into the room where he was found, and there's nothing there. But I do not remember even asking those questions or at that
Sure.
Sorry,
time.
that's
No,
where
no,
my
no.
mind
I
goes.
mean, no, that's fine.
Did you find out after the fact? Was there like a preliminary, like to really dissect it?
Heart attack? Or?
Was there preliminary, like kind of idea of what happened to him, or were they just like
Yeah, so
natural
they
causes? General.
They said natural causes, but they stood on a heart attack.
Got it. But then you after the fact, you kind of found out that your uncle was into some stuff that might have been outside of the norm, right?
Yeah. So my mom was, because I had asked my mom, was like, hey, remember when I was a kid, this happened? Was I dreaming? Was I making it up? And my cousin, she jumped in. She goes, no, you're not. That actually did happen. And I was like, oh shit. I must have been like in junior high school, like right in between that time when they told me. And I was like, so those big ass birds we saw, like what's up with that? And then they told me that I guess my uncle was with this girl and she did practice some type of witchery. I don't know what kind of magic it was or whatever, but my uncle cheated on her with somebody else.
Oh.
No.
So my
She
mom,
sicked the crows on him.
So
Yeah.
my mom, my aunt, and everybody believed that it was just one of those things where like she made it happen,
Really?
So, and then they tell me never to talk about this on Tuesdays.
Oh shit.
I don't know
What-
why Tuesdays, but they
Well,
said
Sunday we're good.
yeah, it is Sunday. So yeah, they said
I won't
Tuesdays
edit on
they,
Tuesday. I don't want the birds
they
coming from.
listen. I guess
Wait.
on Tuesdays they
I
listen.
fucking believe this
Yeah.
shit.
Hold
I
on.
believe
Yeah.
this.
This
So-
is grandma tales right here.
Shit, man. So witches every Tuesday they check in on people?
They be checking the messages,
You
dog.
know what?
Fuck, man.
So I don't know.
They be, yeah, they be checking the DMs, Dalia.
It's like,
Wait, so I have a question.
No,
Yes.
you don't get questions.
Yes,
I
she
hope.
does.
I
That's
really
why she is
truly hope
here.
that Dalia has discoveries on this podcast too.
Right? So the witch that your uncle dated, was this prior to him being amputated or was it
Why?
follow-
What's wrong with dating a man with no legs?
No. I'm just saying, like, I
Note
wonder if
to edit.
no, like dating such a negative person, I wonder if it took like, if she kind of
I don't.
worked her magic throughout the years.
It was a
or-
slow burn on the curse,
Yeah.
right? Essentially, yeah.
Well, from my understanding, this was his wife, this lady.
Okay.
And my understanding is that my mom, my aunt, and him were in the vehicle, so it might have been when he was younger.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Do
Got
they have
it.
kids together?
No, they didn't have any kids together. And this is the only brother my mom
The
ever
reason
had.
why I asked that because I'm like one of the kids, a witch, or you know what I mean?
No, it's just
Plot
really
twist.
crazy because my mom's family members, every single, like just about every single aunt, I have a story about them.
Oh my god,
That
we're
I
gonna have to have you
That
come
is
back.
something
Yeah.
supernatural.
Gotta
Something
come back.
supernatural
I'm
happened.
like, you gotta come back.
Do you? So does this?
Wait, sorry, were you done with your
Yeah.
question? Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry,
Just wanted to
sorry.
make sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Rude ass motherfucker. I interrupted you. I'm just kidding.
I
I'm just
say
kidding.
you gave me a compliment. Now you're going to be extra mean to me. So did this? So has this? I got to ask you. After the fact, this many years later, are you a believer in witchcraft, or are you? Are
This
you?
is more like dark magic. So remember, because there's so many different types of witchcraft out there.
I know I get the creeps, but I don't really think too much into it, I guess.
I guess as a
It's like a typical guy. I feel like Chris is the same way. Like whenever I have my ghost stories or
Yeah.
whatever, he's like, he always finds the rationality of it, or he just won't look. Things have happened. He won't look too deeply into it
Yeah.
because.
I'm like, that was fun.
No offense, but I feel like most guys, and if this isn't you, like I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but like and people listening, but I feel like most guys are scared of death.
Yeah.
And so when they start thinking about supernatural stuff, it makes them like think about that, and I feel like they just can't handle it, so they're just like whoosh, wash it away.
Oh, the life to think about that as a legit thing is terrifying, right? The life of a ghost has got to be fucking miserable, right? Say you're like an old timey. Let's just take fucking
Not if
Gettysburg.
you're like scaring people, they probably have fun.
A Civil
They
War
get off on
ghost.
it.
You're scaring people
dying
for
every day.
2 or a century and a half at this point. You got to be bored with that. You got to want another gig.
I don't think they understand the concept of time though. So to them,
It's
it's
different
when you're
dead.
life.
But then you're reliving a
Beetlejuice
trauma.
taught us that.
I think
Great show on
musical.
did we talk
Broadway,
about? We saw Beetlejuice since we recorded last, right? It was great.
Yeah.
People should watch it. But
So good.
if you're a ghost, aren't you? You're just reliving fucking trauma.
Yeah, right?
no, you're
That's
making
fucked
people
up.
feel what you went through.
I know that's fucked up. You're like reenacting your trauma to make
And
people
I
understand where you're
believe. I
coming
mean, I
from.
was raised very Catholic, so but I do believe in the idea of like a purgatory, like earth, like your after death. If you haven't moved on to your next realm, your next place, maybe you're stuck here, and that's your karma.
Yeah.
You know, you're stuck here. You're kind of like it's kind of like going to jail. You're stuck here doing time until it's your time to flourish.
If you ever, yeah.
If.
you ever.
What do you got to do to get out of purgatory if you're like an old Civil War ghost?
You're just stuck here.
God damn it. As a pellet cleanser, I want to know. So, witchcraft, it's terrible. It's a terrible fucking life.
Yeah.
There's got to be a route out of purgatory, right?
The issue too with like witchcraft, like
confused.
now, like the nuance, it's such a trend right now.
Yeah. There's like crystal shops
I'm
in the
genuinely
mall.
freaked out, not of witchcraft, but I'm freaked out of some of the people that are doing it because even if you get someone bipolar, if you fucking cut them off, they're in the intersection, they're gonna hex you because they're like, "Wah!" You know what I mean? So there's like that mentality freaks me out of like who's in the hands of doing this stuff.
Just buy extra
You
cinnamon.
know?
Just
You
buy
know?
extra
Yeah.
cinnamon.
Extra cinnamon,
Salt.
extra sage.
Salt,
Salt.
we good. We good. girl.
Burn
You
it
know?
all.
But like, so for me, that's the biggest thing with this whole movement of witchcraft is like, I definitely believe that it's real, but some of the people doing it should not be doing it.
Yes.
Well, I mean, like you got to imagine that even if you are like good intentioned, let's go on the premise. Let's first take a palate cleanser. Do you believe like do you believe witchcraft is real in any sense, any true sense?
Absolutely.
Dahlia, do you believe witchcraft is real in a true sense? And you believe witchcraft is real. So if you have that power just floating out there and have that capability, like it's like giving everybody a mini nuclear bomb, for lack of a better phrase. Like it's scary to think that a lot of people are practicing without knowing the full extent and the full power of what they're doing. Like even good intentioned people, if they're performing witchcraft, they gotta fuck up every once in a while, right? Like, oh, whoops, I meant to do the good spell on them. Whoops, like now they got to curse.
course,
Sorry,
You missed a comma on that sentence, right? You forgot the pause or the
I
dash or the
don't know
and
if
or
you
the
guys
or.
listened to our last
Yeah, I
podcast,
know, right?
but it was about like curses and stuff like that. Did you guys? Because I know you guys like horror films. What was the movie? The Evil Dead, the new one.
Evil
that just-
Dead
Oh, with the
Rise.
mother,
Rise?
yeah, with the mom,
yeah,
right?
with the
Is
mom
it-
in the
yeah.
apartment.
Okay, trip out. Like
The weird
no
old
joke.
timey
Oh, don't
apartment.
start.
No, this is like a
Wait, we have very
I made
opinions.
him watch that movie, and he was talking shit so much. He's
I wasn't
like,
talking
okay,
shit.
talk shit,
You
but
didn't like
listen
it?
to this
No, go ahead,
story.
go ahead.
Okay, so you guys know that
wanna
obviously the
know.
premise of the story about
Yeah.
the safe underneath
Uh-huh.
the building. Trip out. So we just did a podcast about that with our neighbors.
Yeah.
They sold a house, and like the whole concept of the movie was like we watched the movie a couple days before we did the podcast, and we're like, this is real. Like this is real life.
Yeah.
There was a safe under the house. Okay. The story goes that and this is in the paper. Like it really happened.
This is the realtor friend.
This is
our neighbor who.
yeah, you met. They were at the birthday party thingy.
Yeah.
They were like sitting next to you guys. But so he feels like he has kind of like because he sold that house and he was kind of attached to that house, like in some ways to perform. But they've had bad luck ever since they sold that house, and
Really?
like kind of some cursey kind of shit going on, and like. Same, like I was like, oh, I don't know if it's, but when you're dealing with like satanic rituals and that kind of stuff, I will never fuck with anybody that's into that shit. And so this house had a safe under it with a gun. The brother that lived in the house lived with his sister. He shot her behind, like from the back. What do they call that when they do that?
Executioner style?
Execution
Yes,
style.
yeah,
exactly.
sounds so much cooler when you say it like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Execution
Horrible.
style.
He did that to his nephew. Luckily, one of the nephews got out, and then he shot himself. So the wife, because she's like me, like we kind of like have like
Amityville
that
horror
third eye.
kind of deal.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
said
right.
she walked into the house and was like, "Oh no!" Like
Yeah.
felt like the heaviness, and she's like, "I'm gonna wait outside for you." And he didn't feel anything of it, but so this house has like that history, and the people that bought it have had bad luck. The mother got in a car accident, like literally, like right after they bought it. The father got in a car accident, fighting to the point where one of them had to like move out, and just bad luck, horrible things. And then for him, it's just kind of been the same thing for them too. And it's just like, oh my God, I brought them over holy water. They're not like the most religious people, but it sucks. Like it's real. Like
You know
the
what the-
safe under the house, they opened the safe because you know how they have the guy that does the inspection. He opened the safe, and you wonder, what did he release?
Yeah.
Like I have goosebumps, like
course,
the
yeah.
movie. And we had just watched the movie. I was like, you guys need to watch this movie because I was like,
Find out what you're in for.
I mean, obviously the movie's like over drama,
exaggerate, yeah.
but I like knowing somebody and with the safe under the house, I was like, whoa.
It's safe is creepy.
No.
Here's the thing that might have got our neighbor the curse because he just sold the house, right? He wasn't involved in the triple homicide or whatever.
Of course, yeah.
When he was going to sell the house, he showed up, whatever, did his inspection, and some old guy walked out and told him, "Hey, you need to look into this house." He's like, "Bad stuff has happened in this house," and he kind of did a quick Google search and he brushed it off. But I think that's where, if he has a curse, that's where his curse. It's like a weird. That was like a warlock telling him essentially, like, "Hey, this is a warning
Stay
to
away
heed
from this
what you
house."
sell and
Yeah.
do your
Yeah.
research." And
He also
listen to
said
bad
that
omens.
neighbor also mentioned something along the lines of like this house has a deep root, like the family's been there for a very long time, so it goes back.
Yeah.
in
So that
time.
was essentially the manifestation. Instead of in a crow form, that was
Yeah.
he was in a human
But
form
then
telling
our
him
neighbor
to
was just
back
kind
out.
of like, he's just like putting his Century 21 sign up. He's like, dude, what you talking about? Like, and he
Yeah.
Googled it, didn't find anything, you know?
But aren't you supposed to disclose those things?
3 years.
So we found out. So
3
here's
years.
you want a fun
3
tidbit?
years.
3 years and
So 3 years, and
That's
I
it.
was like, oh, 3 years for like suicide or anything like that. He's like, no, 3 years for anything. So Jeffrey Dahmer could have lived in your house, and if it's been 3 years and 1 day, you're in the
Yeah,
clear.
you're in the
Don't have
clear.
to mention that. That's fucked up. I don't think
So
ghosts
fucked
move on in 3 years.
I mean,
No.
as
I
a-
don't think they do.
See,
Dude, as a- good.
I believe that spirits and things can be attached to anything.
Yeah.
No, Dalia, kick him under the
The
table.
action
I'm gonna
side.
kick you. Anyways,
Yeah, I'm trying to help you out so we can hear you. That's all I'm trying to do.
It's okay. Don't mind me.
There you
okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. we
Yes.
can hear you.
Great. I thought you were great before, but
I think so too. He's just giving me a hard time.
Your fiance is a
I
dick.
strongly believe that
May or may not be
bad
a
spirits
fiancé
can be
after this.
attached to things. Just kind of like when you buy vintage things, like
Yeah.
things like that. Like
That's what I was
you
gonna
don't
bring
know
up,
the
yeah.
history of where anything came from. So I'm a huge believer on that. Have you guys ever watched My Haunted House?
No.
did we
Yeah.
watch it?
No.
Oh,
No.
I
That
have,
show's
yeah.
good. Yeah, I made
Yeah.
you watch it.
I don't think she was asking you, but
Oh,
fine.
I know,
I
I'm
don't
like, I know you have. So that show basically goes
Take that note
over
to shut up.
different houses and different things
No, I'm
in
just
the
kidding. You're
house
good. You're good.
that
Stop.
and reasons why the house is haunted. So it could be a wedding dress that you thrifted. It
Ooh,
could
that's
be
nice.
a ring that you got at the pawn shop. It could be literally anything, and your entire house just kind of
Goes off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we have some close
gateway,
friends.
right?
I don't want to mention their name, but I'll just say the friend that introduced us.
Oh, there you go, yeah.
And some Santeria stuff, like something's attached to their mom.
No way.
There's something, and like the stories, we've actually had them on the podcast, and someone deleted the episode, and it was so good
Accidental
because
deletion,
they
for
won't
the
talk
record.
about it.
It
I
was
don't know
a
if
curse.
you've noticed.
It was a
They
fucking
like
curse. I'm
spooky
sorry.
stuff, but
Yeah.
they won't talk about this stuff unless you get them really drunk, because it's like they've had to live this their entire life, and I've heard stories from their family members
Yeah.
also. And so yes, like so we don't know if it's a relic, but it's like maybe something passed down through generations.
100%. Yeah.
And I think maybe in the neighbors in that safe, there was something in there they unleashed. Maybe it wasn't like the Book of the Dead, like the movie, but there's something in there, and the gun, and maybe that gun that was in there.
it could literally be anything.
So there was like what's creepy is there was in that safe there was this like a gun and like some dirt.
But what was
I
the
don't know
dirt?
where the fuck was that dirt from.
Why
That's
was it-
creepy.
why was the dirt
Ashes,
in
dirt,
there?
something?
Maybe it's a burial symbol, like gun and a burial symbol. Creepy.
The dirt, like that's come
Dead man
so
dirt?
wild. So maybe who
Could be.
knows?
Who
Maybe a
knows?
family
Yeah.
member. So no, okay, we have to watch that
That's
show now.
scary.
Yeah. And so, and I keep telling them, no, it's not attached to, because it's not like their life's threatened or anything, but it's just like coincidentally bad luck. And I believe we've done a podcast on like what you're talking about, like voodoo and that kind of stuff. Where, you know, the movie inspired by Chucky was based on a real doll. And that doll, if you've ever Googled what it looks like, is creepy.
Creepy as shit.
And it was a plantation home, and they had slaves, and one of the slaves practiced voodoo and made this doll for the homeowners. I don't blame them. Fuck yeah, fuck those assholes for having slaves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, but that doll, like, possessed the little boy, and I 100% like, if depending on who it is doing the right spell, can do that. And I've seen those cases of the bad voodoo, but we've also, because we love New Orleans, we've used to, before we had Clementine, we would go there every Halloween. I was having a haunting over at the condo that we used to live at, and I would always tell him there's this guy, like, he comes to me in my dreams, he's like in his 50s, and he like harasses me, and Chris was like, okay, whatever. And so we went to a voodoo temple in New Orleans, and I was like, I'm having a haunting at my house, like, what? And this is me. I'm a Catholic. I'm a religious person, but I felt connected in the sense of like voodoo and Catholicism. They have a lot of similarities, and I believe just like there's dark magic, there's light
There's good,
magic.
yeah.
And so I went to the voodoo priestess. She's like knew exactly what to do. She had this thing of sage. She's like, it's already been like prayed upon. All you have to do is burn it with your front door open and your back door open so it could pass through. And it worked. Like when we got back, I did it. And I felt him still there, but he never fucked with me again. I have goosebumps.
Just didn't like the
Never fucked
smell.
with- And guess what happened? So he didn't believe there was a ghost there. We get back from this trip. He's going to get the mail because it's a condo. You have to go get your mail at the little area where everybody's mail is. And the mailman was there. You want to tell him what the mailman told you? And we didn't know. No one died in our house because, again, the 3-year shit.
Tell the mailman said, We're just chatting, and somehow it came on.
He's like, I'm so good to see you. So glad to see you.
Glad to see you. You're not
The
dead.
last person.
He's like, the last person who lived in here, he died. He was alone. He was kind of a loner type. I think he was older. He kind of developed into a loner. In his 50s. And he just was living his life. And then, because we used to live in a condo where
did you ever go there? The upstairs? It was
I think
like
you
upstairs?
did, maybe.
I think so. Maybe.
Let's just say he did.
There's drunken times.
Why not? I don't know.
Memory lost.
You remember that at the condo? Killing brain cells. So there's basically the condo, and then there's like a condo that's right across like from the way. So when
You walk upstairs, and there's one
and
here
literally
and one
it's
here,
like, hey
and ours
neighbor
is
type of fucking
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And that neighbor on the other side of where we lived at the time was like, oh, there's something fucking funky going on in that apartment. Like they need to fucking clean out their fridge or some shit. It got to the point where they're like, you need to check this out. And they called the fire department, whatever. The fire department had to bust open the door because you could smell it. And the guy was just basically
rotting
fucking
for like a
melted
couple
in his
weeks.
couch.
And I think that was the saddest part is like, no wonder he's haunting us. But that was the saddest part.
Did you think that was the guy?
Yes. I'm like, I told Chris, I was like, I'm not fucking crazy. I told you. Every time. Never believes me. Same about the alien shit.
Okay.
And now.
Truth is out there. Now everybody believes in aliens.
Yes, but so he was rotting in our.
He was rotting on the couch. And the creepiest part is that apparently like and this could be just a paint thing, being the skeptic. But everything okay?
Yeah, no, sorry, the screensaver.
Got it. So apparently there was he was a religious folk, right? Mm-hmm. Right? Isn't that the deal?
Yeah, he was a pervert. I did not. He was bad energy.
Well, there's a lot of religious people who are secretly perverts.
This is very
Read the news,
true.
babes.
This is very
Ain't no
true.
shame on that. Yeah,
Shake
This is
the
very
news.
true.
Like,
Yes,
there's a lot of
you're right,
there's
you're
a lot of hypocrisy. Check it out. So apparently he was religious, and he had John 3:16 right on the wall.
Like imagine the fireplace right there, right?
So he had to be religious. You don't put John fucking 3:16 unless you're like in and out or
And then
religious.
my mom buys the condo.
In and out of religion.
One of the two.
And then they
I think it's
painted
both for in
over
and out.
Gonna love it, lemonade.
My mom. This is like
Find a little
legit shit.
Jesus with your fries.
My mom has like the third eye too. I was like, I swear we were like witches in another life or something. Because my mom can pick up on.
She
stuff,
does.
too.
Your mom's like an empath, as they say in the
You
industry.
have like a little gold thing right there.
Thank you.
Gold dust.
Thank you. I'm not moving it.
But yeah, so she's like, I like that John 3:16, keep it, but the painters painted over it. And then it was like what, a week or so later, it came through.
It started coming through like slowly,
Really?
but
Yeah.
nothing else came through. Like you couldn't
Just
see the
that.
paint
The
or
paint
whatever.
still looked fresh, but it came through.
So anyways, that's
But
your.
she was religious?
My mom's very Catholic.
No.
Oh,
The
yes.
guy.
Supposedly that guy.
Okay.
My mom's
You
too
gotta
religious.
like if you put a religious thing, you gotta be.
I mean, he could have been going through something and
That's
somebody
true.
told him, like, hey, you need some saving or...
That's true.
I
'Cause
don't
a lot
even
of
think
people do
Homeboy
that.
had friends. The saddest part, because he was found rotted. Like, how did nobody, like, hey, I haven't heard from so-and-so. Like, you don't go and check on them?
He must have been.
Some people mind their own business. Like, I mean, being an EMT, like we got called into somebody said that it wasn't like a mobile home,
Mm-hmm.
and it was smelling, and they didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
And as soon as we got there, it was us, the fire department, and the police, and they opened up the door, and poof, you get that smell, and it's just that you cannot take it out. It's such a bad smell. But I wanted to ask you is like, did you guys smell any type of rot? Because isn't there like, if you smell rot,
Never.
isn't that like a
Never.
demonic kind of deal?
Really?
No.
Right? Isn't
Every
it?
time I took a
I've
shit,
never-
that's it.
But no, no. But have you ever heard that? Like, if you smell like a
Yes.
rot,
100%.
Yeah, it's like supposed to be
It's
demonic
smell and then also very cold. Like, well, I guess that's with any spirit.
temperature.
But let's
no,
be real, babes.
No, we never had a smell, but he was pervy. I said in one of our podcasts before, like, this is so embarrassing. So like he came, like my dream was,
Oh, he came.
Oh,
Ghosts come. Can ghosts ejaculate?
I don't want to know.
They can't, right?
Oh yeah, you heard that lady? She's pregnant with a ghost.
yeah.
Oh yeah, they got divorced, right?
Did she have a
There
miscarriage?
was someone who married. There's someone who married a ghost and they got divorced. I know that much.
There's all kinds of weird
But
people.
anyway, so
out
I
there
had
for
a
sure.
She got
dream
jealous?
with him.
Oh,
This is
I gotta
like
tell you about that.
100% real. I'm not fucking crazy. And so like he was like, I was like in an insane asylum, and then those are like places I would like to go because they're spooky. And you're like, oh, are they haunted?
Maybe the
After
spookiest.
this, no thanks. And he was in a wheelchair, and he like kind of had like makeup on his. And I was like, why is that guy in the wheelchair wearing makeup? And like I'm walking towards him and he like lunges up and he like grabs my boobs, like right there. And I wake up and I feel pressure because you hear like ghosts, they like hold you down and you can't move.
Yeah.
There was just pressure on my boobs.
Yeah, I know that too well lately.
That is wild.
It's crazy.
Like, and that's why I was like, I know it's a guy, and I told him it's a man. He was wearing like kind of trying to camouflage his face, but he was in his 50s for sure. And I always said that, and so it was such great clarification when the mailman was like, there was a guy that died in your condo, and he was like in his 50s. I was like, I knew it.
Was he in a
Like,
wheelchair? Maybe.
No, I
never
think he
asked.
was just
Could've
trying
been.
to like
Very cool.
fuck with me.
That's
I
crazy.
always felt that. Like I always felt like.
But let's be honest, babes. I got to ask you a question.
He's
how
always
long-
trying to debunk everything.
No.
All the time.
This is not debunking. How many days? So if we weren't together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you were fed up with me because I'll never leave you, babes. But I'm sure you have moments.
Get out.
If I were a divorcee, right? How many days do you think it would take for them to find my body? I wouldn't fucking call anybody if I wasn't feeling well. Like,
Oh, we're trying to go back to
The-
him
no,
not having
if-
friends.
Oh
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be that same person.
no! Stop! You're
Well,
so
'cause I-
stupid.
Because I'd be like,
I live-
I'm not feeling well, so I
No.
should text CJ.
No,
Yeah.
because Clementine. No, because you would.
Oh, that's true.
With Clementine, like we would be talking.
Okay.
Like she would have a cell phone.
You'd find me before I started stinking.
I like myself. I lived
Thank
alone
you.
for a long time,
Yeah.
and like I live far away from my family members. I mean, you guys are close by, but communication wise, I tend to just
Yeah, because you got the horrible friend here.
Fuck you. How many
No,
days
but
do you think you could have gone
life
before they were
happens,
discovered?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
don't feel bad. Don't
I just
judge
had a
this
bunch
guy.
of those kind of dreams that you just mentioned right now.
Really? Recently?
Okay,
Yeah.
we
Oh,
need to talk
shit.
about it. It was like
Add it to
Like
the list.
grabbing-
Holy
grabbing?
shit.
Well, they didn't grab my boobs, but
your hoo-ha. Your hey yo.
wish.
I'm sorry, babe.
no, I actually, Dalia actually had to wake me up on one of them because
Yeah, it
I
was after
kinda
Insidious.
Insidious, yeah.
Let's hear it.
Holy shit.
So,
What was the dream?
well, I've had these kind of dreams before, like at my mom's house. My mom's house is haunted by a little girl, but she doesn't mean any harm. So my sister's a very empath. She actually feels everything. Like this person or whatever grabbed her hair, pulled her hair, talked to her, did certain things. However, one time when the entity talked to her, it was not a little girl.
Ooh.
So she didn't know. But either which way. So I've had that moment a long time ago in my mom's house in Long Beach. And then just recently I started having them more and more at the house. And
Do you want to
it's-
go into detail or?
if I
Could you
remember
please?
correctly, yeah. I mean, what a lot of it
The whole
starts,
point of this whole fucking
yeah,
thing.
a lot of it starts off like a total dream,
Mm-hmm.
but it feels realistic. Where I'm in a home and I'm remodeling or redoing something, and the house is like really nice and Victorian, old school, which is something I've always wanted.
Yes.
And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna remodel this bathroom or do something. And if I go into the room, I start feeling really heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And I start seeing like shadows and certain things happening. And it gets really, really bad to the point where I can't leave, can't talk, can't do anything. The entity is just pulling me in more and more and more.
Oh.
And it just happened again yesterday where I had a dream where I had to go into the garage to grab something to fix something. And when I went in, I was like, fuck, it's going to happen again. And it happened where I couldn't get out of it. And it's really, really strong. Where a point where like I wake up scared, but I have no idea why that happens, you know?
Yeah.
No clue whatsoever. So do you know why that happens? Or
Well,
do
there's
anybody?
well, no,
Or-
like
I don't know.
if you look at like if like I'm sure some of those shows that you guys are watching with like hauntings, it's always that same thing where there's a name for it.
Is it sleep paralysis?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a
So-
lot of that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that
yeah.
and so you wake up. I've had other situations where I've lived in also a different haunted house. And and at that house
Fucking magnet for it.
like I woke up and my whole body was like I couldn't move. I was awake and it's like you can't talk, you can't do
Yeah.
anything. But I was awake. Like cuz in my dream they were like telling me that they were going to kill him and they were going to hurt him and
Yeah.
torture him. And then when I woke up, I was like using everything in me to just throw it off. And I swear to you, it sounds like a horror film. Like when a demon's like running around the wall, I feel like when I finally got it off, it like was on the wall crawling around.
Yeah.
And then that same night, see, he didn't have that experience, but I woke him up, I was like, are you okay? Are you okay? He's like, it's so crazy. He's like, I felt like something was watching us like the whole time we were sleeping.
That's crazy. Yeah, like for me, it felt like something was grabbing onto me, like from behind, like kind of like with the legs where they're tied up, like a monkey on your back trying to pull you in. And then I didn't realize that Dalia woke me up. She's like,
Yeah,
hey.
I woke up like at 2 something and I can hear him mumbling and I look over and I was like,
You okay?
he's having a nightmare.
Yeah.
So I slowly like just tapped him and I'm like, are you okay? And he woke up. But he was
Tears,
very
yeah.
calm. He was
Yeah.
very calm and he was just like, I think I just had a nightmare. And I was like, no, you for sure did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Hey, no
no
shit.
questions
He's
about
like
it.
trying to play it off. Like,
But no. So all I wanted to say all that because the day that my uncle passed, and I was telling you guys we were getting ready to go
Callbacks. Nice.
Yeah, to get to
we
go.
get on tangents. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
What were we talking about?
ADHD problems.
So that night that we were supposed to go to the water park, we all spent the night at my aunt's house, and Leon.
Yeah.
And she has a 2-story home. And the 2-story home, if you would, it has a carport, but it has an entire gate. And then above that is a room, right? But when you go into, like, the front yard is the only yard. You go into the living room area and the kitchen. But when you look up, it's like a half wall. And they use that as a second, third room or whatever the case for the kids. So you go up the stairs and then you go through, they have metal doors, not wooden doors. They have metal doors, like, and that was to go to an area where you would wash clothes by hand and hang your clothes, like outside, like in the patio. And my cousin slept there, and they had like a bunk bed. So that's a side story. But that night, when we're all kind of sleeping on the floor, like all the kids are excited to go to this quote unquote Raging Waters kind of deal. All the little dolls were walking around.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so
Wait,
that's
wait,
what I wanted.
hold
That's
on.
what I wanted to
Hold
bring
on.
up. Yeah.
Hold on, wait, what?
So there's these 2 little dolls
Wait,
that are.
Oh, by the way, I
this is
lived
still
through a
your
horror
you're 8
film.
years
Forgot to
old.
mention.
This is
Yes.
around the same time
Yes.
Uncle passes.
Yes, exactly.
How soon after Uncle passed?
The same
weekend.
night.
Yeah.
The same night that my aunt got the call. The same night my aunt got the call. I remember waking up and I remember seeing these little dolls like walking, and I was like, "Is this fucking real?" Like, you know what I mean? Like, this has to be a dream.
As a 7, 8-year-old, yeah, you're thinking. Is that right? 7, 8.
Whoa.
7,
Okay,
yeah.
good. As a 7, 8-year-old, it's
I
gotta fuck with your mind because you're still grasping what's reality, what's like.
and then a 7, 8-year-old, what do you do to protect yourself? Grab the blanket, put it over your head.
Yeah.
And then and then the next thing you know, somebody grabs you and they wake you up like, "Come on, we gotta go to the ranch." It's like, what the fuck? Like, what's going on? And we all jump in the ranch. And I remember seeing that, and I'm like, dude, something's up. And there was always one cousin that I had. He was eerie as fuck, dude. And later down the road, I come to find out this guy had to get like a total like exorcism going on.
What the fuck?
Yeah, so he had in that room, that top room, he used to sleep on the bottom bunk bed, and his younger brother slept on the top. And I guess at one point, soccer players, right? I guess he felt.
Wait, what?
He's a soccer player, so I'll tie it up together.
Okay.
Yeah, so
You were like,
so-
soccer players, right? I was
so
like,
yeah,
I
He's
don't
all
know
getting
what.
excited. It's like, soccer players?
Oh my God,
Yeah,
World
like
Cup,
kicking
yeah.
balls, right?
Yes. So I guess. Somebody walked in his mind. Somebody walked in through that door, that metal door from the patio, to maybe rob the place. So he's like at the edge of the bed. He saw a shadow. So he's like, "Hey, get out," in Spanish, like with a lot of vulgarity behind it, I guess.
Sure.
And he threw his pillow at it, and it like you can throw something, but you can hear the catch, and then somebody get ready to throw it right back at you, right? His, it was like he said he threw it and it went right back to him with full force. It kind of knocked him out, and then he's like, he got up, and he was older than I was. I was 8. He must have been 12, 13. He got up and he tried to kick this black entity. And
Could you see through the entity?
no, so he said that
Solid.
when he kicked it or tried to, the entity grabbed his leg. He has marks still around his leg, like a burn mark. But he said it was so cold it burned through his skin, and he saw a vision from the eyes or whatever the case is. And he got so scared, he jumped from the top and broke my aunt's couch that night. Like,
Did he tell you the vision?
no, he didn't tell anyone
I
anything.
need to know
But
the vision.
so that's all that happened within the whole time my uncle passed, right? So I guess from that time till him becoming 21 years old, he was an asshole and savage and broke my aunt's nose. He was doing weird and odd stuff all the
It
time.
possessed him.
Yeah, so they actually took him to a priest, and they got a couple other priests and try to pray for him. And it's not only that cousin; it's another cousin that happened the same thing, where my aunt tried to pray for him, and I guess she got all twisted and she passed away. So
Because
it's like,
of that?
yeah. So
She
there's
prayed?
so there's a lot of those things happening in my family. So sorry, babe.
Do you
Welcome.
marry into a
Yeah.
curse?
But yeah, I don't necessarily know what that vision was, but it was kind of creepy.
wanna
That's crazy. Did the exorcism
know.
work? Do you think it?
According to them, it did. But I always I actually pushed that cousin down the stairs because he was freaking me out all the time.
Really?
Yeah, just his aura, his being, his like.
Yeah,
Did
know
you
he
feel
was
like
bad.
since that day, because you were there when the entity was there, or no? You
No,
heard the
no.
story.
So
Did
we-
you notice since that day that's when the shift was? You guys got along prior to that?
No, so when I moved to Mexico with my parents and I was around them, I never liked them.
But that was all after that episode,
No,
right?
I guess
Or even before that?
It was before that.
Did it
even.
get worse?
It got worse, yeah.
Yeah.
But my aunt, because my aunt's nose broke, he tried to do things to one of my cousins, all kinds, just all kinds of like mischief, like evil stuff, you know.
Do you think that was a big trigger? This whole like uncle's death thing. Do you think?
I don't know.
So let's do another palate test, right?
Yeah.
Do you believe that there are, like we were talking about skinwalkers before we started recording?
Oh yeah.
Do you believe that there's like animal possessions, like a crow can be truly fucking evil? Do you think it's just an animal?
I think it's all those entities, right?
You think it's
I think
it's
so.
Skinwalker.
it can
Shapeshifter.
have the skinwalker
Skinwalker
function,
is a
essentially.
shapeshifter.
Okay,
You know,
that
it's the
makes
same
sense.
thing.
Is it? Yeah.
Do you believe
Is
that?
it?
I
I
think
thought
it-
that skinwalker was something that
So
takes over
skinwalker-
you and a shapeshifter just changes.
No,
or-
skinwalkers are essentially, from what my understanding
Yeah.
is that they are entities that have the ability to
They're
change.
similar.
They're shapeshifters essentially. They're very similar.
Yeah.
I think that probably in some lores of skinwalkers, because skinwalkers are throughout the
Skinwalkers
globe.
are more
throughout
Native
history.
American, right?
It's a very
Yeah.
Native American belief, and that it's belief that there are certain evil entities that I would imagine that they can encompass like
100%.
humans
Did
for
we
90%
did an
of their
episode
life.
on Skinwalker Ranch. You should,
Yes.
You should.
You should
Oh,
look-
that's
you
a
should
good
look
show,
at
yeah.
Yeah,
Skinwalker
it is, yeah.
Ranch,
Yeah.
because it is.
You will be like, what? Because
There's
it's all
like-
these people that have had an experience.
Is it Northern California? There's this ranch in Northern California, and it's called Skinwalker Ranch because it is. They've said they've seen skinwalkers, like people who have like possessed, like taken the shape of wolves. They say they've seen UFOs
But the wolves
on this
are
place.
like
They've seen
they're like
Bigfoot.
big.
Where?
They're like they're
Yeah,
not like
they're
just
like
Werewolf.
a cute wolf.
Werewolf.
Yeah,
Werewolf.
bear wolf.
bear wolf because
Bear?
Werewolf.
Or there.
they're
Werewolf.
wolf.
I mean, sure.
Sorry, going more Young Frankenstein here.
But that ranch has all kinds of crazy shit.
Yeah,
But
it's-
do you
yeah.
believe that there's like animals that can have essentially more than a
Ask
being a
Dalia, 'cause you
purebred
already know
fucking animal?
You already know my.
I know your answer.
I feel like I don't think they're animals. I think a spirit, whatever the spirit can turn or make you believe that they're a certain animal.
Got it.
Can I go on a?
But I don't think it's the animal itself that's.
So your belief is
demon.
that got it. So your belief is that essentially the whoever this crazy ex-girlfriend in CJ's uncle's case made everybody believe that they saw a crow, right?
Yes.
But it wasn't a
Possibility.
crow. It was her manifesting on everybody the belief that they saw a crow.
Yeah. could be.
Rather than a crow, rather than the witch being like, okay, I'm gonna enter this crow now, and so it's more that you
Yes.
believe. Okay,
Let's go on a tangent, shall we?
fuck.
So the reason why I so open-heartedly believe in shape-shifting and all of that is because of the simple thing of an octopus. An octopus can shape-shift.
Absolutely.
They have how many brains? I know they have like 6 hearts. They
Oh,
have
we're
like
gonna
8
get to
brains.
it. We're gonna get to it.
What?
Everybody, go ahead. Go ahead.
And I truly believe with evolution, because they are so fucking intelligent, that an octopus can shapeshift into a human.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna get to it.
What?
I thought you were
was
gonna
into?
get to. I thought you were
Aliens?
gonna.
That's an
There
alien?
you go. Oh, look at it.
I mean, look at the octopus.
Never
I
an
mean,
episode
look at-
without aliens.
Look at the octopus. I
Look
mean,
at him.
Come on.
Just look at him. Look at him.
He's out of this world.
They are made of alien DNA.
I wrote
Which is whatever. Take that. Whatever. We're all made of stardust, baby.
That's why we'll never eat one.
in high school we had to write like a fiction story about like something that's might be realistic, and I wrote a story about how aliens are the people from the future coming back to see where they went wrong, so they won't do that again on the planet.
I've heard that.
So
yeah,
I've
yeah.
done that
Not to
before.
tilt your own
I'm
high school
I'm
story,
into
but
that.
here we
No,
go.
I'm
It was great. I
open-minded
got an
to
A.
that. I
You
am-
got an
yeah.
A?
I got
Good
an A.
job.
See?
Thank you.
But
Good
I'm
job.
very
I
open
don't know
to
if I
that
ever got an A
idea.
in high
though.
school.
I truly am.
I'm open to it all.
You know, because they say
But why are
like,
they slumming it around in the bottom of the ocean? Wouldn't they like highfalutin it a little bit?
What
if they're-
isn't slumming in the bottom of the
That's
ocean?
I mean, we don't know.
We don't even know. We haven't
Yeah.
even uncovered everything. Down
Do you think
there.
that's why they're at the bottom of it? They're like, I don't want to be fucking bothered by these humans.
Do you really want me
These
to go on that
past
tangent?
humans.
Do you really want
Have
me
you
to
met
go
a
on that
Karen
tangent?
before?
I
I
don't
would,
know.
I would hype to.
She's not from this world. Or maybe that's why the aliens don't come because
Yeah.
of the Karens. Are like,
Fuck
never mind. I
this.
was going to help you, but
just
you
want
got,
a
you got
caramel
these-
frappuccino.
Okay.
Jesus Christ, Karen. Shut it.
Internet's terrible. I'm not coming back.
Oh my God. Okay, so back to the story at hand. So, okay, was there more to this story?
Well, there's just a lot of little things that I recall from
Yeah.
one visit to Mexico.
Is there more to you literally seeing a witch? We want more.
Well, no, there's other stories you've told me.
That's crazy.
Like, I
no,
know.
that's insane. Do you
Well,
think
in
that
that-
was her, the ex-girlfriend flying over the fucking moon? Like,
I don't
fucking
know.
bewitched?
Like I said, you have it in your mind, but then I as a kid, I'm like, I know I saw that. Nobody else saw that.
You know
right?
what you saw.
Have you guys been to Mexico?
Yeah.
Why do you think we haven't been to Mexico? Just 'cause we white?
I
Girl,
know.
I've
Have you
spent
guys
summers
even
in
been?
Mexico in
Okay.
Rosarito. Yeah.
Okay, but like an actual, I
We've
feel
been
like
to-
anything
we've
in
been to-
Mexico is crazy. Like going to like the
Whoa.
small pueblos and things like that. Like
Yeah.
you hear about things like that on
Sure.
a regular basis.
I mean, I heard a lot of stories as a kid going like the land my grandfather got. I remember being there. This all happened in 1 year span. I remember being there, and in October there was a bunch of people that were digging in my grandparents' house, and I'm like, where are they digging? Like, what the heck's going on?
Plumbing problems.
Yeah, they don't have plumbing. they got a chicken coop. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
You got
so
a bucket.
You got whatever. So anyway, so
Was
they're
it a nice
digging.
bucket?
Very nice buckets.
Oh, nice.
No, but they're digging and like I wasn't understanding what was going on, and then my aunt or my cousin was telling me that they found gold. So I'm like, sick. Grandpa's rich. This is great, you know. But what it was is that they can hear coins kind of falling like into another stash of coins, like if you let. Like if you
Yes,
drop a couple
yes.
quarters into a bunch of, like,
Yeah.
but like gold, right?
That clang, essentially.
Yeah, that clang, yeah. So they were hearing it, and then these people were pretty much hunting for gold. So they paid my grandpa to dig in a specific area, and they were going to cut it if they
Found something.
if they found something. So as they're digging, the sound's getting louder and louder and louder, and then they're like, hit the shovel one more last time, and the sound goes away. There's no more sound of gold. So my grandfather legitimately tells these people like, "Oh, you got greedy. It's gone." So I guess the only pure heart that can find this gold in this particular ranch, because I guess there's a lot of fights and stuff that happen around. back
It's
in
always
day.
the gold. Look at the gold rush. They
Yeah.
all went crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
So,
drives
yeah.
people mad, for
Gold.
sure.
So
Yeah.
my grandpa was like, "Well, you lost it because somebody in that group got greedy.
Yeah.
Whether they said it or whatever, it felt it, and then they had to like pretty much put all the stuff back. And
Wow.
this all happened in the smaller room I had grandparents build. They actually used like a little store, so it
Yeah.
actually happened there.
That's crazy.
So,
It
like-
like brings back manifestation. We were
Yeah.
talking about manifestation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's
But even like going back to like Mexico, like no, like honestly, like every time I've been to Mexico, and I'm kind of an empath. I pick up on stuff. Never ever felt any type of way. It was like the first country I had ever went to. But the only thing I could say that I've always heard stories about from Mexico is chupacabra. Which I believe in.
No, Llorona?
I
La
believe in.
Llorona, yeah.
Oh,
Llorona,
yeah.
yeah. And well,
So
I
did
mean,
we
who?
My
That was-
my
yeah?
grandpa told me one of those too. Like,
really had he really?
Yeah, he.
Do you think that maybe that was the witch?
No, my grandpa said that when he was younger, he used to play a lot. He used to gamble. So my grandma said there's like a bunch of ranches near each other, and he used to ride his horse to go and gamble at this close ranch, but like it's 2 miles maybe away, and he lost everything, including the horse. So he had, yeah. So he wasn't a very good gambler.
We would have a fucking way home.
Yeah. So I guess he ended up having to walk back to the ranch. So he said that when he was walking back, he heard
something. Yeah, sorry.
yeah, he heard like by the river. He would walk like whatever. He was walking back, and he heard somebody singing, a woman, and from the distance, she was naked in the middle of the river, singing with the moonlight and all that jazz.
Fuck, man.
Yeah, so then he was like kind of like curious, like no, he said he knew what it was.
He's like, I can't afford you,
Kinda-
sweetheart. I'm just kidding.
Because
I don't even have a fucking horse anymore.
Yeah, so exactly
I
right.
don't even
yeah.
know how to take you home.
Yeah. So I guess he kind of like went over to go kind of glance, and then he started walking away because he's like, no, I know what it is, you know.
Yeah.
So as he walked away or ran away, I guess that entity or that woman cut him off, and it was like a shape of like a horse. Like the face was different, and the yells and screams. He said that it rang for years in his ears. Like he actually was deaf off of one ear. So
How did he get away?
he said he ran. He just ran. And he
Never looked back.
He never looked back. And my grandma said that when he got back to the ranch or the house, he was cut all over. His clothes was ripped and stuff. And she didn't know. And she accused him of cheating and all that good jazz, you know.
Sure.
So there's all that.
Wild ass
Wh-
night.
Whoa.
Whether it happened or not, or he was just lying, I have no idea.
That's a good
but
story.
It's
I
a
don't
really
know.
great
I don't know.
story.
What are you
yeah.
Oh,
exactly.
no.
Do we think I gotta ask you a question because
Yeah.
there's a lot of stories of this, like these type of stories that happen a lot
Yeah.
in the past, in the like in more remote locations. Do you think it's a function of us losing our connection, our empathy with like as we get into like we're fucking all suburb city dwellers, like we don't really have those experiences. Do you think it's us losing our path, like losing our ability to be empaths? Or do you think it's us getting wise?
Either or, but I still think that my imagination kicks into like high gear.
Oh, fuck yeah.
If I'm at home alone, or down the hallway, I see pitch black, my mind just goes.
He sees stuff.
I see all kinds of shit. I see.
We've had to take down, like, I had, like, you know, because I'm all into my vintage stuff. So I had, like, this cute, like, coat rack, and it
Yeah.
had, like, my fur on it and cute vintage hats. And one time he saw, like, a man, and was he, like, naked, like, hanging from it?
like it was like a
And we
like
had to take down the
limbless
whole,
corpse.
yeah.
It's not my fault. It's
But he
the
has
fucking
these
rat's
really
fault.
vivid
That's
dreams.
the one that turned
He has
into a corpse,
very
not
vivid
me.
dreams since we started, like,
I
even
have
when we first
very,
were
very
dating.
vivid dreams. Like
It's crazy.
He, like,
Yeah.
sprained his ankle one time because he thought there was a homeless guy in our kitchen one time.
Yeah,
Oh shit.
and this is when we were first dating.
First
we were
dating,
like
I should have known what we're
me-
going to do back then.
the best part is I will like it's not so much now, but in the first because like I think we're both a little more night owls, so I would be awake. We would both be. But when I fall asleep, like when I would have these nightmares, I would try to like. She noticed that I was starting to get fidgety. I was starting to get freaked out. I was starting to get boxy or whatever.
Yeah.
She would notice that, and she would try to be like, "Hey, it's just a dream." And I would like fucking debate her about it. I'm like, no, there's a fucking corpse here. And so when that homeless thing happened, I was like, no, there was a homeless man. He was eating the
Chase
shit in our fridge. Like, I would argue with her until like a good 15 minutes in about how
Yeah.
like, yeah.
And now, you know, you're
Nuts.
like, when he had his, and you're like, babe.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, Chris will like sit up while he's doing it. And I literally do this, lay back down, you're just having a drink. And I go back to sleep. I'm like, you're ruining my sleep, motherfucker. Like, and then he goes back to sleep and he's fine.
I'll talk in tongues too.
He does. He's even done like, you know, they say like aliens talk like
Yeah.
he's
yeah,
woken
yeah,
up,
yeah.
done this with his fingers.
I'm just on a
And I'm
higher
like,
wavelength.
what? Go to sleep.
like raptors talk, right?
Kind of, yeah.
Like-
Like, yeah. I'm just on a high. I'm talking to aliens.
Okay.
Don't be jealous. I know you want to meet
affair.
one.
I'm open to
Jokes on you. They
everything.
don't have any
Yeah.
genitals.
No, yeah.
They're beyond that,
I
baby.
mean, how
Alright,
do we
Ken.
know? They could come out. Like, I don't know.
we don't know.
They could like come out
I want to do a whole episode about that. By the way,
about.
theories on alien genitals. Like, what are the theories out there? Nobody ever talks about that because people see aliens.
Well, they say that they're like all.
Are they
They're
clothed?
like asexual. They're one sex.
Sure,
And
but do
because they
aliens?
don't really need to procreate because they have a lab for that.
Sure,
You know.
but do aliens wear clothes when they show
And they
up?
say they don't even talk. That's why
They
their
don't have
mouth's so
clothes.
small.
They don't
because
really
they
wear
talk in their
clothes,
head.
right?
No, they don't
They're
wear
not in like
clothes.
Star Trek uniforms.
They say
No.
that some people say that those are actual.
Clothes.
They're
Suits.
yeah, suits.
Yeah.
Okay,
I've heard that.
cool. I just want to do an episode on that. If anybody has any theories on that, because people have seen it, but people have never
Well,
described it because they try not to be crass.
Well-
In this essay I wrote, I pretty much just said like the eyes
Are we
'Cause
going
we're
back
too
to
closer-
high school? You wrote a lot of essays in high school.
Shut
I'm
the
proud of
fuck
you.
up.
I'm proud of him.
Yeah, I did good stuff. No, so
Did you get an A?
you know how the eyes are a lot larger and they got like a
The mouth
coating
is
over?
small.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
mouth
yeah,
is
yeah.
small or no mouth is there. It's, a lot of it's mind used, telepathic. So I wrote on there that they mind fucked.
That
They
makes
mind
sense.
fuck each other.
Why couldn't you?
All right.
I
Yeah,
mean,
like, you
we're
could
already
get
doing
taken
that. We have
places.
the what are they?
The virtual.
Oculus?
Yeah.
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 Are they beyond it? Are they like too like is like this is we're getting back into aliens.
Do they need it?
Is sex purely a mental simulation at their point? Like cuz obviously like I think that when we all get our rocks off it stimulates one part of our brain or whatever.
Right.
But are they at that point where they're just like we're just
I
going
think
to
they're
we're going
so beyond that because they're so intellectual. When you meet very smart people, they can barely even have conversations.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Be awkward
Yeah.
to a
Yeah.
certain extent.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very extremely awkward. So it's probably like they're so
I'm fucking
beyond
stupid.
that. Yeah, beyond that.
Do you think that there's
'Cause I
like
talk a lot. Oh, shit. Damn it.
you'll never have mental orgasms. Never.
Never.
So, do you think that they like are like
The lady in
I
the
wanna
opera, she was alien.
now I'm focusing on Brianna's theory. Do you think they are self-creating? Like alien, there's species that are self-creating where they can like they're asexual. Like a lot, like it's efficient. I mean, it's fucking if you could just like pop out your own baby when you're ready, like good on you. But like, are they at that point? Do you think aliens where they're just
Yeah.
like or they're
They're
are they
beyond.
labs?
Created.
It's all labs.
They're beyond.
Yeah, I think they're beyond that because they're gonna know that too much of a population is not good. They're not. You know.
But
So they're, like,
but going
controlling
back
that
to the
shit.
gold
Yeah.
thing, I mean, the Egyptians.
Great
Sorry.
segue.
No, because aliens and gold. I definitely think that because it's throughout history, the Egyptians like covered themselves in gold. Gold has
Yeah.
always been something. I believe that aliens utilize gold for something different than we do. For us, it's like fashion, right?
Sure.
It's your status quo. For them, I think they use it maybe for their crafts, maybe for their machines to heal them. I think it's a different. So I do believe that they come here, and I believe that they do
It's
coexist.
a good way to barter with them, right?
No, they just come. They don't even need to talk to us. They come.
Hey,
Trade
look,
gold for
They
I
know
got
where
a
the
gold
gold
block,
is.
man. I got you.
They got
Let
their
me
giant,
live.
like, what's that machine that finds the gold? They have their giant thing
metal
where beep,
detector
beep,
thing?
beep, beep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they go and find it.
So you say aliens who can now self-procreate are using metal detector machines?
I'm saying
Is
they
that
have
what
their,
you're
like,
saying?
they have their
They have
their
their more
high-tech
advanced.
one.
They have
I
like
think
the
they come
fucking
here and they look for elements.
Metal Detector
Maybe not
Pro.
gold, but like
Right.
elements, and then they go back to their
yeah.
planets.
Got it.
You know.
Okay.
So-
I'm sorry, everybody.
You were here, CJ. You were here the night that me, John, and Lewis saw the thing in the sky. Though,
yeah,
did you
the
see
alien,
it?
Yeah.
Did
I think
you-
we were here for it. Was in the
Did you
little
see
party?
it?
Yeah.
Because I know that like he didn't see it, so he was like,
No.
"Eh." I know our other friends didn't see it, and we've actually had Lewis on the episode to talk about what he saw because I didn't want to sound like the schizophrenic that just saw something in the sky and everybody's like, she's crazy. And I was so glad that other people saw it. You know, 'cause
Validated.
so for me, this is what I saw, and then you describe what you saw. I saw like a ring of fire, and it was pulsating. And to
Johnny
me,
Cash.
like, was it an alien? No, but I believe truly that it was a wormhole.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. I just I recall seeing it. I think we were on our way out, and I remember seeing it and going, that looks weird.
You saw it.
Yeah.
You
but
saw it,
I didn't
okay.
think anything more until you guys spoke about it again, and
'Cause
then
we
Lewis
all-
told me, and I was like,
We all saw it
I
at
can
the same
I can
time.
see that. Yeah. So, but I just saw it on the way out and didn't think anything of it other than, again, that's weird. And then,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
it was like it was pulsating, and it was about for 20 seconds, and it was one of those things where this phenomenon's happening, and even though with social media and all that, and usually I would grab my phone, but I was like almost enjoying it. I was like, this is a phenomenon I've never seen before.
Right.
And me, Lewis, and John were sitting around the fire, and we all kind of stood up, and we were just like, whoa, do you see that? And then after like about 20 seconds, it just slowly disappeared.
dimmed away.
It was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I always, and it was like right over. I'm like, what was that?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Did you tell him about the time you brought
Disney
it
World?
up to ancient aliens?
Oh yeah.
The what?
No, I didn't tell him.
So we went to this ancient alien
They
con.
have Alien Con.
They have alien con, everybody.
There's a
Should
lot
go.
of there's a lot of schizophrenics.
There's a lot of what?
There's a lot of
It's
crazy
like,
people.
because
Really?
That's what's fucked up. Because I'm like, whenever anybody,
I'm not crazy.
I'm like, I am not. Like,
Foil
gonna
hat
bet.
and everything.
I've never been in a mental institute. Like, you know, like
Fuck you, I'm not
don't-
crazy.
I don't take meds. Like, even when that happened, I wasn't on drugs. I was buzzed. But like, and I know like our other friends were stoned, but like I wasn't. I don't smoke weed because it makes me crazy. But so for me, what? Go ahead.
Don't people sometimes drive themselves crazy just like if they've experienced something?
When they're in the
Trying
rabbit
to-
hole,
Yeah.
trying to figure it
trying
out,
to
make sense of it.
people
Mm-hmm.
understand and believe that like, hey, this is out there, and then everybody just kind of looks at you like,
You're
okay.
nuts.
So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is it they're not crazy? They kind of just get themselves wound up.
Well,
so
some
much.
of these people, I will be honest on. So when we went to the alien, we went to Alien Con, and you can share your story, your
Okay.
extraterrestrial experience with everybody.
Sure you can.
So you're waiting in line to go up to the microphone, and
Yeah.
then they have a panel of like people like Giorgio, all these other
Yeah.
like astronaut, like they know all the stuff, and they kind of try to debunk
Experts,
or they'll
yeah.
experts, and they'll tell you whatever. And so the people in front of me, like they clearly were like, boop, like they were not on this world, but that's because they're like cuckoo for Cocoa
yeah.
Puffs, you know. And then so I come up after them, I'm like, fuck, like they're gonna think
To
I'm
be
crazy
Dalia's
too.
advocate on this, though, wouldn't you like? When I was little, I thought I saw aliens walking across my window, but I think that was like the sleep paralysis, waking nightmare
Because
thing.
he
Right.
has
I
crazy,
think.
yeah.
But say that we're more realistic in my head, right? Wouldn't that drive you crazy if you actually if you got abducted by aliens? I'd probably
would
be
be
crazy.
insane. I
I'd
would
be
be
insane
insane. If
because
you
this,
remember it,
this
yes.
changes your whole
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
world focus, and I would imagine a lot of bullshit that you're into before or that mattered doesn't fucking matter anymore because now
Mm-hmm.
you know that aliens are coming and doing experiments on you or taking you up
And no
for
one
a couple
believes you.
hours.
Exactly.
And
Aliens, yeah, no one
some
believes
of
you.
the people that said they got probe and all that stuff, they
Yeah.
live in pain
Sure.
half their lives. So they're,
Yeah,
you
I've
know.
even heard of abductions where a woman was pregnant and they took the fetus out of her, and then when she went to the doctors, they like her stomach was still, and they were like, "Oh, you know, maybe you just thought you were pregnant," and she was just like, "You
No.
guys, yeah, like no, like I had a baby," and they're like, "Oh, well, sometimes this phenomenon happens. Maybe you miscarried," and they're trying to like figure
Make
out a way.
sense of it.
The
Yeah,
medical,
and she's
yeah.
like, "I was pregnant. I saw the heartbeat. Like, what are you talking about?" You know.
That
So
would drive
that would make
anybody
me
crazy.
And that
yeah.
gets to
So
the
how does
point,
that
like,
work,
yeah.
though? Like everybody else forgot. Like there's no other appointments that she went to that
No
verified.
pictures.
Like,
Well,
hey,
no, they
you're-
say like maybe you miscarried, or maybe you didn't realize you miscarried, or you know, like they try to find other reasons.
a more
Within
Yeah,
the
because
normal
I guess there is
parameter
a
of-
thing called like phantom pregnancies. That
Yes.
is,
Okay.
you know,
Yeah.
and that's probably why that.
Wait, what's
lady
a
that
phantom pregnancy?
had a
It's
sex
where you
with
think
the
you're pregnant
ghost.
and you don't.
Yeah, and you
Okay.
have
You
like
go
this
through all
thing-
the symptoms.
Got
and
it.
all
So
that.
you're basically, but
so
there's no actual.
they were trying to call
fetus.
it something like that instead.
Kinda like, you know, when you lose an arm or a limb and you feel like
And you
there's
still feel
pain.
it. Yeah. That's crazy. And just
You guys,
imagine.
speaking of you know, we have a tailbone. Did any of you guys feel your phantom tails ever?
No,
No.
no. Only when I fall on my ass.
I mean, if you believe in. You
But
know,
don't we still
if
have?
were
We still have a
apes-
tailbone, right?
Some of us have more of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of us
Yeah.
Is there more?
Yeah.
Wait,
I've heard
hold
some
on.
people have it.
What,
Yeah.
Doja Cat or
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
there's like
Somebody
yeah,
has it.
Wait,
Yeah,
Doja
where
Cat
it's
has
like
a nub?
it's like a little
Yeah,
bit of
no,
a
no.
yeah,
it
it
is
protrudes
Doja
a little
Cat,
bit.
right? Or one of the artists.
One of the
now.
artists has it. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a few people that I know.
I know there's like a guy from a boy from India, and they kind of worshipped him as some kind of like god because of his little tail.
I
His
think
little
it's
toe?
rare.
I mean, I think it's like if you go look back and you see the kid with the lobster hands, or
Yeah.
people with like
Or
more hair
mermaid. There was like a mermaid girl.
whatever.
That
Yeah.
her,
So there's
her legs were.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens, I guess.
It happens, yeah. And I don't think it's ever like I don't think the protruding tailbone is ever like enough where like you would notice it unless like
I'm
they
just saying,
were-
I don't feel my
bluff.
phantom nub ever.
What movie?
No.
What movie was it where it actually had a nub? It's a comedy.
Fuck, it was like one
You
of
know,
those.
it's not Dumb and Dumber. Not,
It was one of those. One of
something
those.
about Mary.
Oh my god.
Something like that. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Crazy. But just imagine someone like when you get called crazy, what does it make you do?
Pisses you off.
It makes you act more fucking
And I was
crazy.
more
Like,
mad
you're
at
just like,
yeah.
you get
At
crazier
Alien
trying to
Con,
defend
I was
yourself.
pissed because I was like, this is what I have to like go up
I was
after.
enjoying it so
All
much.
the people, this one crazy guy in front of us drew a picture. I brought my images. I was just like, oh,
And
fuck.
before and after you was the most beautiful
So
thing.
how did the experts react to the people before you and then the people after you?
I felt like they treated them like 5-year-old children. Like,
Be honest.
Oh, like listening. Oh, okay.
Here's a
Yeah.
participation award.
And then for me, like I was pissed because I felt like they were trying to debunk mine. They're like, oh, well, sometimes when rocket ships, like when they let, they have to let certain, because they throw off like part
Emissions
of
or whatever,
their,
yeah.
they're like, it's probably what you saw. I said, no. I was like, it was standing still. It wasn't like, do, 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 do. It was literally like this. Brr. So you're telling
Yes,
me,
it was aching.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
like pulsating. Yeah.
Pulsating, yeah.
And so I was like, but it was in the same spot. It wasn't like, you know what I mean? So I was like, that to me, that didn't make sense. My sound effects.
I was thinking of his background.
Yeah, I don't know. And those are they were like these people who were up on the panel were like people who are believers, right? And
Yeah.
to some extent, and they've heard thousands of stories. So I don't know about your story, babes.
Fuck you.
The people who are,
Eyewitnesses. That's all that matters.
I don't know if the believers believed. So sorry.
But I respect that. I don't want them to be like, oh, aliens.
You
yeah,
want them
yeah.
to come in with a scientific.
Like
Alright.
we're
Yeah.
talking about.
I'm gonna from all the nationalities and everywhere all around the world.
Tell us who's your
Egyptian,
favorite
Mayan,
nationality.
Egyptian.
Sorry.
Egyptian.
We're recording.
Whatever.
We're not live. What's your favorite ethnicity?
No. Well, imagine. No, I'm not gonna say.
And what's your least favorite
I
ethnicity?
know.
No.
No, please don't. I don't want to know that.
I don't
Even
want
if it's
either.
recorded, even if we can edit it out, I don't want to know
we're
that.
good. No, but like all the stuff that's on the walls of these caves and or pyramids, a lot of them kind of do look like
Aliens.
extraterrestrial
Thank
kind of
you.
stuff,
theory.
right?
Thank
Even
you.
a lot of the stuff like the Mayans, they depicted a certain type of god, their round heads. Even if you go to Africa, same thing, the long necks. Egyptians, the way that they did a lot of their gaudy stuff. A lot of the things.
Aztecas,
yeah.
Mayans. What's the Peruvian?
Like the
They're-
Incas?
The Incas. Like people don't give, like they just think like, oh, they're indigenous people. They didn't know better. They were so intelligent.
They were
100%. They had to be.
extremely
They were
advanced.
so
Extremely
advanced.
Oh yeah.
I truly believe they had crafts. I mean, even is it Mayan or is it Inca? Where they have the guy, he looks like he's in a craft. You've seen that?
Oh,
You've
that's a
seen that?
Mayan.
Oh,
That's a
Mayan.
Mayan
Yeah.
statue.
He
yeah.
looks like he's in a craft. He's got a thing over his face. He's like got a thing, and he looks like he's.
There's a lot of them.
descending.
They have like rockets, like kind of drawn out. There's
In Egypt, there's light bulbs. Like they were advanced. Like why do we think we didn't have? They just had fucking fire.
all of these.
Well, there's no
all of
question that
these
they were
places-
extremely advanced.
Yeah, all of these places you talked about, they did certain type of lands for crop benefits or even for just hygiene or you name it. Everything had a purpose. And it was lined out. But then you fast forward to the
no, we don't.
Probably
we
more
don't
of a
have
purpose than we have.
we
Just
don't
fucking
have a
burning the
not
earth
us,
up.
but like
yeah.
We're like, yeah, we're burning up the earth.
But
now.
if I will answer your question, you're asking about who. I won't say like, oh, they're my favorite race or
Oh
favorite.
God, here we
Oh
go.
God, no! I said
no,
don't
no,
answer.
No,
what I asked.
that's not. But it's not. It's different.
Skinwalkers,
It's
got it.
different. It's
Those are-
different. I will
My
say
favorite race is every race.
Shut
Go
up.
ahead, babes. What's
I
your
will say
answer?
I'm connected. I won't say they're my favorite, but I will say I
It's
don't know
weird.
why or
This is all
how.
gonna be edited out, by the way.
But it's I feel connected to Egypt because
Got
of
it.
the past.
So let me clean you up
When
here.
I-
Let me clean you up. The culture that from the
hate
past that
you.
intrigues me the most is
I'm saying I feel connected.
got it.
They intrigue me. I'm connected.
Yes.
I feel like in a past life I lived there.
In Egypt. Did you live a nice life, or were you like building? Were you?
And when
were
I
you
experienced that, and
supervising
I've
the
told
pyramid, or were you building
Clementine
the
this,
pyramid?
my poor kids like crazy mom. When I started belly dancing,
Mm-hmm.
I felt I don't know what it was, but I felt like my soul, like I did this before. Like I felt when I belly dance, I feel connected to Egypt. Like I don't know what
It's like
it
the
is.
movie The Mummy when
Like, I used
when
to
the girl
dance it,
starts doing
you
her
know?
thing or like battling and she's remember Remember that part of the movie? No.
No, I want you to explain the movie The Mummy to all of us.
No, when the librarian chick, right?
When
I don't
Brent,
remember this.
remember that part?
No, no,
when
no.
the guy from the movie
No,
The
but
Whale.
She's a
Go ahead.
librarian in America.
in England or whatever the
Wherever,
case is,
yeah,
and she
yeah.
becomes, I guess, there's a spell of some sort, and then she is part of the Egyptian culture back
Got it.
then, and she's fighting the whole thing with daggers and all kinds
That's
of stuff.
cool.
And she's,
I gotta watch the movie. Wait, the original Mummy?
Yeah, the
Is it?
original
Okay.
Mummy. I
We
think.
tried to
After
rewatch
that,
it,
they
but
kind
then
of like,
Yeah, they kind of went wild.
Yeah, but
Once they lost
no,
Brendan
it's a
Fraser.
weird connection.
It was one with The Rock, right? Was it?
The Scorpion King, right?
Yeah, something like that. Wasn't that in the Mummy universe? Wasn't the Mummiverse?
Mummiverse.
Mummyverse.
Mummyverse.
Anyways.
Anyways. You're talking something about crows, CJ, or something? What was that?
Well, we will have to have
Maybe
you
they're
back on the
aliens.
podcast to talk
Yeah, this is
more.
like part one. Like,
I know.
this is
Part one.
So
crazy.
many things.
Well,
I know.
Like, aren't some aliens like confused for birds as well, like owls, right?
Sure. And I would say that we've talked about on that previous episode that some aliens are confused for ghosts and ghosts
Vice versa, right?
confused for aliens.
I can't really answer that. He's asked me, like, do you think maybe the ghosts are really aliens or people in a parallel universe or something? And to me, that's so like mind-boggling, and it's too advanced for me. I'm like, but I'm open-minded to like that idea, you know?
Yeah.
Do you know what Tom DeLonge believes? Do you know what Tom DeLonge believes?
No.
So Tom DeLonge, the guy who's like Blink-182, famous lead singer, and he's very famous now for UFO stuff. He believes that
His band is named something like that, right?
Yeah. He believes that all like the UFO stuff we've seen is actually like aliens from parallel universes, not them like going from planet Naboo all the way over here. It's actually them tapping into parallel universes and like finding wormholes that way.
I believe
Anyways.
it. That's interesting.
This has been an episode of ExtraNormal Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. And thank you so much for CJ and Dalia coming up and helping us chat it out. We're going to have them very soon, very, very, very soon. And thank you for listening. You can find us on all the social medias on ExtraNormal Podcast. You can find us at extranormalpodcast@gmail.com if you need to email us anything. Thank you so much for listening.